Hey Spartans! So sorry, my nose is very nasally. The video might be kind of choppy because I'm going to have to take a lot of breaks to get some water to help my throat. Alright, we're going to jump into the project. So we're on our line unit and we are focusing on Celtic knots. Now Celtic knots have many different influences. They are influenced from Africa, Christianity, Islamic, and Viking culture. And so all these different influences, it can be seen all around the world in those different kind of styles. So the main idea of Celtic knots, although they're called Celtic knots, they have different patterns. They're not just a knot pattern. They're patterns like a knot, a spiral, a braid, chains, keys. Alright, so there's 5 different patterns. Those are the main ones. Now, within those patterns, they focus on the 7 symbols. So the 7 symbols are man, mammal, plants, insects, fish, birds, reptiles. Okay, so you can find these a lot of different places. So when you think of reptiles, think of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. How he goes down into the chamber, and then there's that giant snake lock that's all tangled up, and he has to talk to it to untangle it. That would be considered a Celtic knot because it's all tangled up and it's representative of some kind of reptile. So Celtic knots can be found in a lot of different places. Mainly, they are found on jewelry because they're made of metal. And they're also found in cemeteries because of the stones and the gravestones that they're put on. And so with that said, they are different kind of styles that you could do. Because they are very structured pieces, their styles are also very geometric and structured. So they are mainly found making a C shape, a letter C shape that is blocked like so, and an S shape, which could also be blocked. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Also found like that, making an S shape. But then you also, of course, see that natural curve when they're doing reptiles like snakes and whatnot. That giant S shape. Now, before we jump into the project, I want to remind you that this project really focuses on overlapping. Okay, that's the main thing I'm looking for, is that we can push something in front and then we make something else go behind. So don't get too overwhelmed with all the different lines going over, under, and all that kind of stuff. Make it simple because we're really focusing on practicing something goes in front and then something goes behind. So with that said, we've done some practices. We've done at least 3 simple shape overlaps. We watched a video on just single lines twisting. So we have 3 of those. And then we've watched another video on 8 infinity knots. Okay, so we should have 14 knots or overlapping forms of things that we've practiced. Now, before we actually begin our project, I want you to look at your practice and I want you to go over and think about what ones that you really enjoyed and which ones came really easily to you. Because some of them probably were very simple to you and they were very complex to someone else. So I want you to go look at it, see what you liked, and then you can also add to it and change it and make it yours if you'd like to. Okay. For your project, you need to pick 4 different things. Okay, 4 different symbols. The first symbol is going to be your main symbol. That's this body right here. Okay, you are either going to do that infinity knot, one of them, like I said, we did 8. You're either going to do that one infinity knot, pick the one you like the best, or you could do a long line of that twisty knot. So we did 3 twisty knots. You could pick one of those or one of the infinity ones. Alright, so pick one of those. I would pick a couple and practice them to make sure that the one you choose is going to be the best one that you know how to do. After you have that idea, you are going to pick 3 very easy, simple shapes. And those are going to be connected to it, kind of like that chain that we practiced in the beginning. So before we get to this, I want you to use this. Pick a couple, all right, that you're good at. Remember, you need something for that main body, and then you need some of those chains to come off of it. And then you're going to go on another piece of paper and you're going to practice. Okay, practice. Do a couple practices. Make sure you really know how to draw it and you get the idea of what's going to overlap what. And then you can make it bigger. And then the easy part, you just color it. Outline and color. Okay? So once we have it all figured out on this paper, then we get to this paper. Sound good? Okay, so keep watching. I'm going to go step by step on how I made this one. Alright, so you need 2 pieces of paper. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, a marker to outline, and then you are going to color the whole thing. I'm using colored pencils. They look neater. You can use anything you want though. Additionally, you need your practice. So all those 14 that we practiced, get those out and start giving little check marks or stars next to the ones that you really liked and enjoyed making. The ones that you thought came out really nice. Alright, so then after you've picked a couple ones that you enjoyed, we are then going to go on another piece of paper. Like I said, you're going to need 2 piece of papers. That first paper is going to be your scrap paper. So I'm going in, just practicing some of the ones I liked and see how they fit together and how my final product is going to turn out. Just trying different ideas on this paper. I tried one. I want you to try at least maybe 2 or 3. So then you know that it's going to come out exactly how you want it to look. Alright, so after I did my practice, I realized I wanted my heart to actually be on the top of the paper rather than going off the side. So I just moved my dots around, my practice dots, to really make it that the heart's on the top. And that's what I'm doing right here. So I'm lightly sketching the whole thing, getting it all ready. Remember, you're going to do it light until you're happy with it. So after I have it lightly drawn, the infinity part, I am adding my chains. So I draw the full chain that I want, and then I go back over it and then decide what goes in front and what goes behind. So this is me making the whole thing and then deciding what's going to happen to each one. So I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going over and outlining everything, making it bold. Really take your time on this part because you want to make sure that you are doing it correctly, that you are making each section go in front and behind. You don't want to make a permanent mark on something that should have went behind and should be invisible. So really take your time on this step. And of course, after I finish everything, I'm going in with an eraser and erasing all the parts that I didn't want. So really making sure those overlap parts are gone before I start coloring. So erasing all those little tiny mistakes. Alright, so now I'm going to get to coloring. I'm not going to show you this step because you guys should know how to color. I first did the rings, and then I did all my overlapping parts. So if it was on top, I did a light color, acting like the sun was hitting it, and on bottom, I did a darker color, acting like it's a shadow. I also went in and did any small, like the inside of a curve, I did a darker color, and then on the outside of the curve, I did the lighter color. Then I went over the whole thing and blended it to make it look nice and smooth. So this is my finishing product. I'm excited to see what yours are going to look like, and make sure you turn in on time.